What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 1 of Hanging with Daddy. This is going to be your late night show, interview style, with your favorite fantasy guests. And tonight we have an amazing one. But before we get to the fun, we're going to start off with a little serious note. I want you to check out right here my shirt, Emmy's Unicorns. This shirt right here was designed by my friend Emmy Gilchrist. It is raising money for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund. You can find these shirts on ffpodshirts.storeenvy.com. And as my friend Emmy would tell you, she's fundraising for the scientists working to get rid of diabetes. So what I want you to do, once we launch this show, we will put the link. Don't feel like you have to write it down. We're going to put the link right in the tweet. I want you to go there. I want you to get yourself an adult size shirt for you. You can look as sexy as I do wearing this thing. I want you to get a kid size shirt for the kid in your life, kids, nephews, nieces, neighbor. I don't care. I want everybody wearing these shirts because what we want to do is we want to raise enough money to get rid of juvenile type 1 diabetes. That's Emmy's goal, and that's my goal. So with that, we want to start out the show. And the best way to start out the show is to give you the fire intro video. I mean, this is fire. Created by Emmy's dad, Bob Gilchrist, Gabe, the fantasy man bud, and Steven Rodo. So check this out. Here's a minute and a half of a bop.
Get down. Turn on the pod cause we looking at live right now. Peeling it back, take a quick look inside up. All of these analysts, daddy gon' handle this. Know he's a baddie, I know he ain't bad at this. We gon' lay back, talking irrelevance. Why do all that? Just for the hell of it. Hanging with daddy. What's the vibe though? Late night vibes. Oh. Hanging with daddy. What's up, Mike? Turn it on right now. I got the remote now. Hanging with daddy. Let's go. Late night vibes. And we're hanging with daddy. Turn up. Turn it on right now. Daddy got control now.
Oh man, if that isn't stuck in your head for the rest of the day, I don't know what will. I absolutely love that intro. The guys killed it. So listen, week one of the fantasy season. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, I have the lineups to set. Well, you came to the right place because what we're going to do right now is we're going to answer every single start sit question you have. I know what you're thinking. How are we going to answer every single one of them? Well, hey, we got time. So I want you to grab a few drinks, okay? I have myself High Noon, Sun Sips, not a sponsor, could be a sponsor. Give me a holler. You know my at. But listen, let's answer them all because this is important. And I am here not to have fun, but to help you win fantasy matchups. So are you ready? Here we go. Every single start sit question. It's week 1. Stop getting cute. Play the guys you drafted first. Do you remember when you had that draft and you picked a quarterback first? Start him. Then those running backs you picked the first, second, maybe third round, put those in your lineup. Then the wide receivers and the tight ends. If you're in Dynasty, play your best players. Okay, welcome to week 1. All of your questions have been answered. Good luck this week. So anyway, with our first guest, for episode 1, we are hanging with Outhouse, Russ Fisher. Now, this guy needs no introduction, but he wrote one, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. Russ is, this is going to take a bit, the director of podcasts for DLF. Just happens to be the network you're watching right now. He is also the host of the Trade Addicts podcast and the Dynasty Game Night pods. He's the host of Outhouse Thoughts and the DLF Trade Show on YouTube, the commissioner of the Trade Addicts League, and an all-around amazing human being, my friend, Russ Fisher. Let's bring him on. Russ.
Hey.
What's up, buddy? How we doing?
I am so stoked to be here. I am so happy this is going on, and I am so happy to see your face again because it's been like 2 weeks and that's far too long.
It really has felt like it's been years.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that I left out of your intro is the best hugger that I have ever met. Like it was an embrace. Like normally we bro hug people and you get a
None of
little
that.
a tap. No, it was nurturing. You held me to your bosom and I felt safe. And
Hmm.
I just wanted you to know that was the best hug. I think outside of my children, the best hug that I've ever had. So thank you for that.
So what you're telling me is I have to do better next time.
Up your game a little bit. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
third,
Fair.
but there's a chance to get first. So you're on the podium,
Yes.
which
I'll take
isn't a bad first guess.
bronze medal, still a medal, baby.
It is a medal, wear it proudly,
Hmm.
but the gold, we need a little more. Maybe a little back rub. I don't know. Like there's probably
Ooh, good.
something you could bring
Hold
into the
on. I
fold.
need I need a notebook or something. I got to write this down. This is
Right,
good.
right. I just want to be caressed.
That, who doesn't, man?
That's what I'm saying. So you're the first guest. And obviously we're gonna have a lot of people watching this show.
Oh yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Do you juggle? Or did you bring like zoo animals? Are you a singer? Like what are you gonna do to entertain? I'm gonna sit back and let you do what you do.
I got a little bobble outhouse. I'll just sit here doing this for like a half hour.
That, that's that's what you brought. That's
Yeah. It's like a mini me. That's awesome, right? Like, look at the resemblance.
you're the first guest. You brought a outhouse
I bought
bottle.
I brought Boomer Esiason. Does that help?
No, Boomer. If you brought actual Boomer, like people would have, he could have retweeted this. That'd be dope.
It's like 9:20. Boomer's like 60 something. He's sleeping already.
I just was hoping that maybe you had some kind of hidden talent. Like, can you do that thing where it looks like your thumb's like detaching? Oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Finally, I was hoping you weren't going to be completely worthless. So I'm happy you brought that. At least that gets me every time.
Dad.
All right, my friend. So the big thing that I think everyone wants to ask is you named yourself after a plumbingless hole in the ground.
I did.
So why don't you break down why did you decide to essentially name yourself Crap House?
It was pretty much calling myself full of shit.
Mhm.
In which case, if I ever said anything stupid, I'm just like, look, the name right there, Outhouse, full of shit. I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's there. You
That's
can't get mad at me for it.
No, I think that's fair. I actually like that because having an out for any take in this industry is important. That's a solid move. And I'll be honest, I don't take any of your takes seriously. I actually don't read them. So you've
Neither
done
do I,
really
so we're
well.
even.
That's great. So what do you want to talk about? What is going on? Like what's going through your head? How many leagues you're I know you're the commissioner of 10 now, right? 10, I believe you just launched the
10
10.
TA leagues, yeah.
Coming up to week 1, man. What's going through your head? You freaking out? You good? How you feeling?
Of course. Okay, so here's my thing. Trade Addicts Leagues, Trade Addict Podcast. I like trading. And the thing with me in the non-point scoring season is I don't care about my starting lineup whatsoever. It's trade for value, trade for value, trade for value. You'll figure it out when you get close to the season. Usually about 2 weeks before the season starts, I'm like, all right, let's go through my leagues. Let's check out what I need. Do I need a wide receiver 2? Because now is when it matters, right? Who knows what wide receiver 2 even means in May? I had a really insanely busy past like 2 weeks, and I haven't even had a chance to do it yet. So just today is Tuesday the 7th. We have football in 2 days.
Mhm.
I just today went through and looked at all of my lineups, and I'm just like, oh, I have work to do.
Okay, what do we got? What's your first target?
I mean, who? I don't even know, man. Let's see. I am trying to get oh man, I'm blanking. I'm under pressure. I can't think about it. I can't think. Okay, so I want a just in case share of Zach Wilson.
Okay.
Because I don't own one. I'm in 26 leagues. I feel like I should have one share just in case he does well. So I've been going after him a lot. De'Ami Brown is a guy. He's probably not going to contribute to my fantasy teams for at least the first half of the year, but he's my guy this year. Like last year, I had T. Higgins. This year, my guy's De'Ami Brown. Clearly, I have a type. That's fine. I'm comfortable with who I am. Running back wise, I hate running backs, so I don't really know who to go after. It's the cheapest guy I can get that I think will score me points.
I like it. So I made a trade today. Let me run it down for you.
Cool.
It's a monster. I traded Tony Pollard in a 4th for Zach Moss in a 3rd.
Whoa. Hold on. Let me write that down so I can really map this out.
There's a lot of pieces. So let me tell you why I made this trade. So I tried to trade Tony Pollard to the person who has Zeke Elliott on his roster.
Mhm.
And he said no, which is smart. But it hurt my feelings.
Got it.
So then one of my league mates, and everyone has one of these guys, they come looking for everybody. So he came looking for Antonio Gibson. And I told him maybe lower the bar a little bit, maybe not. And I offered him Pollard. And I said, if you want Pollard, he's available. Pollard and Kylan Hill were the two people I made available. He wanted Pollard. We make this deal. I don't like either player, but I know my league, and I think that's most important. So now, hopefully, the trade's done before this airs, or else this is totally going to blow up in my face. I am now trying to get Rashad Bateman for Zach Moss.
I mean, that'll be a little tough to pull off straight up, but that's a beautiful move.
Yeah, so that's where we're close. I think maybe Bateman for Moss in the third or possibly a second is going to get it done for me.
I would feel fine throwing Moss in a second for Bateman right now.
That's kind of where my head's at, but I'm greedy, so I'm gonna
absolutely try a third first.
Yeah.
I never throw my best offer out first. Usually just because I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm clicking buttons.
That's fair.
Like I don't put a full brain into it. It's just like I like clicking buttons. Propose trade. Ooh, that's not great. Let's see what they say.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's like me in these new leagues, the Kitchen Sink and the Capitals Pigs leagues. I have
Oh
no
God,
idea
those
what's
take
happening in those.
years to figure out.
People send me trades, and I'm like, maybe.
You know what? Let me tell you, the best way to learn: just hit accept and then see what everyone's reaction is.
I like that.
Because it's exactly what I did the first time in Pigs. I made a trade, and I mean, at this point, it was like David Njoku and it was like a decent amount of money at the time because we always wanted him to be a thing, and it's a tight end premium league. And then everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe you got him so cheap. You got him so cheap." I'm like, okay. So, guys, we think of David Njoku about this much money. All right, I get it. Like, it takes so much effort to learn values in those leagues. Kitchen Sink, honestly, I did 2 years and bailed because it was too much for me. You know, the contracts and however many teams were in that league. It was too much. But I love bankroll leagues. I love the capitalist Pigs leagues.
Oh, they're amazing. And I will tell you, for the Kitchen Sink league, I did probably the smartest thing you could do, and made my first true trade with Ryan. So clearly he doesn't know what he's doing. So I figure, rip off the guy in the league who has no idea what's happening.
Oh, Ryan took me to the cleaners on our first trade in Kitchen Sink. Embarrassingly.
I think that was what was going to happen with mine. And then Cam Akers happened, and he's who Ryan was targeting. So I only won by default.
Hey, best two words in the English language.
Default. This is default. 1 second. This has gone off twice. Hello. Yeah. No, I'm recording it. I'm recording it right now. I'm actually on this show. It's my friend Russ. Ma, is this an emergency? I'm literally in. She wants to know if you're having a good time.
Of course, I'm with you. Of course, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, of course, No, I didn't. Why would I offer him a drink, Ma? He's literally on camera on a. No, it's not rude. He's not a guest at my. Russ, can I get you something to drink?
I'm good, man. Thank you very much.
He's fine, Ma. All right, listen, can I call you tomorrow morning? Yeah, I love you too.
Bye, Mom.
Russ says bye. No, I love you more. No, I love you the most. Okay, all right. Sweet dreams. Yep. Snuggles. All right, love you. Bye. She did this on my first work trip too. She called when I was in security, and the security guards basically were pulling guns on me, wondering why I was going into my bag while I was in line. So, yeah, she's great with that. So I apologize. That was wildly unprofessional. My apologies.
Hey man, moms, it happens.
Yeah, would have hoped she'd be in bed by now. So anyway, we're talking about trades. That's your thing. You made me do this on your show.
Okay.
Worst trade you've ever made. Let's just get it out there.
It's funny. There's absolutely one, and it hurts for many reasons. It was maybe after the 2017 or 2018 season. I can't remember which one exactly. I think it was after the 2018 season. And it was whatever year that Jay Ajayi went nuts at the end of the year, where he had 2 straight games of over 200 yards.
Mhm.
And Stephon Diggs was great. He was very, very good, but he wasn't like what he is now. Like, he wasn't like a wide receiver 3 in Dynasty or anything crazy like that. And I needed, this is why I changed my philosophy, because the season had just ended and I'm like, all right, well, David Johnson isn't David Johnson anymore, clearly. I'm going to need a running back going forward. All right, I'll trade Stephon Diggs for Jay Ajayi.
Okay. How'd that work out?
Very freaking poorly, because that was the season where then Jay Ajayi just pretty much never played, then got traded halfway through the year, and then never did anything ever again. And thankfully, the league ended by now, because I would be crying seeing Stephon Diggs not on my team, just killing it.
That's hurtful.
Yeah, it was bad.
Now, let me tell you why I'm not surprised you took that trade. Because obviously we're friends. We know a lot about each other.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone that was fooled by the costume in Robin Hood, thinking it was actually a pelican when it was clearly just a fox.
Stork.
A stork, excuse me.
Stork.
So you believe that's a stork. I could see why you would believe that Jay Ajayi and Stephon Diggs were similar, like you get confused by visuals. So
it's not just the visuals, man. He lived that part. He was convincing. He had the accent. He was excited to be there. He was showing no fear, shaking hands with the sheriff, just getting right up in there. There was no reason to suspect that was Robin Hood.
No, there was every reason to suspect that was Robin Hood. Number one, you're in a forest full of animals. And you think there are 2 people that can shoot arrows like that?
Why not?
No one's heard of this stork. He just happens to be the greatest archer in
There's
Sherwood
no
Forest.
phones. There's no internet. He's from across the kingdom. How are they supposed to know?
That's ridiculous. They would know. Everybody knew each other. They ran into each other all the time. The snake knew who everybody was, even when they were breaking the mice out of the castle. Like, everybody knew each other. But this stork just shows up just for a kiss from Maid Marian, so he knows nothing about anybody, but
And the
shows
golden
up.
arrow. There's a golden arrow.
But you think that's how this went down?
I'm telling you, that's how it went down. I've seen the movie.
Okay, this is why I would send any trade to you, sir. That is the most gullible thing I've ever heard.
I prefer to believe that I am filled with whimsy and optimism.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. Okay, what other bad Disney takes do you have? This is the best part about hanging with dads. Like, we know Disney. So give me, you want to go old school? I know you're more like the 90s is your sweet spot.
I have all of it. I mean, I've seen it all plenty of times. But the new ones is much easier because I've watched it over and over again because of my kids and not just because of me. All right, let's talk about how Mother Gothel in Tangled is one of the meanest, craziest villains ever. Like, literally kidnapping this human and not only keeping her secluded for her entire life, just brainwashing her into believing that it's her daughter and everything is amazing and wonderful and she's there to protect her. Why wouldn't she just change her birthday? Like, one day in any direction, and those lanterns aren't going up on her birthday, and this movie doesn't happen, and she just lives the rest of her life in that tower.
It is amazing that she could put together this entire psychological warfare against another human and didn't just do that. And the amount of mistakes you see, like, why would True Love's Kiss break a spell? Like, why would you set up a spell that could be broken by, now granted, a little creepy that you have people walking around kissing corpses in the middle of the woods like in Snow White, but still, it shouldn't be that easy. Like, they should have to, pull an ear and maybe pluck a nose hair like before kissing them to like activate something. Like, there should be some kind of, think of it like a combination.
Up, down, pull.
Exactly. Like, think Contra, like up, down, left, right, BA, start. Like, you couldn't just hit start, because then it's not a shortcut, it's the way. And I feel like there were way too many mistakes here. Like, these villains, if they were true supervillains, like if I was in a Disney movie, I believe I could dominate. I mean, what do you think? What would this have been that hard for you?
Well, me, yes, because I'm a good person. You're an evil son of a bitch. Like, you got this down. Like, you walk into any Disney movie and you're taking over that goddamn kingdom.
But you don't think you have the stomach for it?
Oh no, I do. I don't. I am not a. I am not any sort of like. If anything, I'm LeFou. I mean, like I am. I am no evil mastermind. I'm not even like the big burly dude that. Because let's face it, Gaston's just an asshole. He's not really a villain. He's
Mhm.
just a lot of repressed issues going on there. But no, I couldn't do it. I just first of all, that's a lot of energy being a bad
Mhm.
guy. Like to keep all of that anger like right up here. Like I repress stuff. I don't want to feel that anger. I push it down all the way down till I forget that it's there. And then maybe I blow up one day, maybe I don't, but it's not directed at anything. Like I can't harness that energy to do whatever these bad guys do. I'm never invited to parties in the first place, so I'm not going to get upset that the king and queen don't invite me to the christening.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not the fairest of them all, so whenever another person shows up in the mirror, not going to try and kill them. I mean, I got nothing. I'm just here. No big deal.
Huh. Yeah, I feel like dominating a world of that many gullible people. It doesn't feel evil to me. Like I feel like it would be a very good life lesson for everybody else because my biggest problem is they get into these issues that they are self-inflicted,
Mhm.
and then the spell's broken and they just go back to the way they were. Like there's no moral, like there's no learning or anything like that. Like they keep the castle doors open. Like there's not another, Hans out there ready to, sell them on snake oil. Like the risks are still there. They haven't learned anything, and that's what really bothers me.
Well, I mean, you have to, like with the specific thing of Frozen, like opening the gates, they've been introduced to people. The naivety sort of went away a little bit. They're still their happy, optimistic selves, as you see. In the beginning of Frozen 2, Elsa is still insanely skeptical of everything around her,
Mhm.
but she still feels a bit more in control, or at least feels better that it's out in the open. Like even in the beginning, where she's out on the terrace and the butler comes in and startles her, and she's just like, "Oh, my bad." Like, right, no, we're good. Like, I'm not going to freeze you by accident. Everything's fine. And you could even tell Anna, especially throughout the entire movie, still shows that optimism. Like that's her defining characteristic, is that optimism. But she, like the emotions she goes through, just naivety is out the window. Like she is optimistic, but she's down to earth. She has learned her lesson there. Maybe it's because she got Kristoff, maybe it's because what she went through, but all those life lessons, that one specific, this one I will argue with. Like Beauty and the Beast, they learned absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Mhm.
That is still a poor provincial town to these days. Like they just need one big strapping dude to start telling ghost stories of giant beasts, and they're torching and pitchforking all right away without any question. I'm telling you, that's what they are right now.
I would like a live look-in. I mean, if we could do that, that would be spectacular. We can't. I know everyone's probably getting excited that we'd have some kind of screen share. No, I didn't expect this. We didn't plan this, so
No,
now we're
yeah,
just
my
kind of
magic
stuck.
mirror is upstairs. I'm in the basement. I'm not running upstairs. Come on.
No, that's fair. So what I'd rather do now that we disappointed people is get back to completely off-topic things and talk about the expo. You and I both had the luxury of going to Canton, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
what seems like 3 years ago now. I believe it was 3 weeks. So besides being able to hug me like a child, what was some of your highlights of the expo? Take me through kind of Outhouse's experience at the expo and things you hope to do again and things you hope never happen again.
Well, I don't know what's never. I hope everything that happened there happens again. Well,
I
first,
mean, including the syphilis outbreak, or
it's like tradition at this point. It happened 2 years ago. It happened this year. It's gonna happen next year. It's
that's
part of who
fair.
we are. We're not gonna change.
No, that's
Uh,
fair.
well, the entire weekend started wonderfully because my homeboy, my brother, my wonderful human being Zach Reed drove down from Maine to pick me up. I've never met him in person before, and he straight up drove insanely out of his way to come pick me up to drive me to Canton. So like we spent like 7.5 hours in a car, some of which we thought we were going to die because his GPS took us through like scary backwards Ohio where there was no street lights, and it was just like pouring rain, and I'm like, cool. I think they filmed a horror movie here before. But like seriously, the 7 like hours we were in the car, we literally talked the entire time, and it was just like fantastic to be next to this person that I literally talk to every single day. And then we get to the expo, and it's, even if it's just seeing people I've seen before, like, you know, Shane Manila, I've seen a couple of times because he lives in Philly. I'm in New Jersey. We're like an hour and 20 away. He's gotten bored and slept at my house before. Like, we've hung out, we've drank. But like, yeah, of course, and there were so many more people there this year than there were 2 years ago. Like 2 years ago, I got to meet like 10, 15 people, and it was amazing because I got to spend that time with them. But like here, like, it's funny, like people were making the joke because on the day of the expo, I wore a shirt that said, "Who wants to hug the outhouse?" And it had a picture of an outhouse with its arms spread out. And people were joking, saying they're surprised that the outhouse like didn't get rubs off the shirt with the amount of people I was hugging. Like, it was such an amazing experience because I'm terrified of people in the real world. Like, I love that most of our world exists online, but I saw all these people in the real world, and there was, I wasn't say there was no anxiety. There's always a little bit of anxiety in my life. That's just the way my brain works. But it's just like, I saw you. I didn't say your name. I did nothing. I literally almost, if you weren't such a large gentleman, would have tackled you. But like, you were big enough to withstand my force. But like, I didn't get your attention first. I just went straight for you. Like, it was just this amazing feeling of meeting someone you already know, and just like seeing them for the first time and being like, look, I can touch you now. Here you are. It was just like, honestly, that's all that weekend was for me. It was like lighting up my soul of all of these people that I already knew, but now I can say I know.
It's crazy because I know exactly what you're saying, and it's so hard to kind of put into words. Like when I got to Akron Airport and picked up Troy, and it was funny because we have this group message of people that were all coming to the expo, and we had met at first. And we got to the hotel, we got checked in, and I checked the group message, and probably the biggest compliment, because I get worried, like, we're anxious people. And the thing that instantly put me at ease is when I looked at a message from Troy and it says, Mike is exactly who you expect him to be. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because I never want to be that person that you see on the internet, you meet, and you're like, what the? And then Linda showed up and Courtney showed up, and we had our own we stayed off property because, again, I like people, but I also like safe spaces.
Yep.
And, drank by the pool, and it was a good way to warm up because then I met 4 people. But then we went to the DoubleTree, and we went to the bar in the lobby, and oh my goodness, like then all of a sudden I'm like, what just happened? And I have people jumping into my arms like babies, like I am actually lifting them up off the ground. We had Wyatt, who I gave the Dirty Dancing spin to. I picked him over my head. I believe you were actually standing next to me when we did the Dirty Dancing spin, if I'm not mistaken. That was at Jersey's. But like the amount of people that you hug, you hang out with, and you're like, you're actually who I thought you were.
Yep.
And there was, he said, I at least through my eyes, and maybe it was rose-colored glasses, like literally no drama, was amazing considering some of what we see online. It was about as happy as I've seen a group of human beings be in one place. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the thing I found the funniest was, we're mostly on Twitter, and a lot of us are just podcasters. Not everyone does the YouTube stuff. And while, I've talked on a camera face to face with like John Bosch before, but like I've never met him in person. And when I first found him over the weekend, it was just like I heard his voice, and I'm like, I know that voice. And like a cartoon, like followed the stream of sound, and I'm like, ah! Like, it's so funny that like you don't recognize people by their face most of the time. Like, people had like, I'll walk up to people like, oh hey, I'm Russ. Outhouse. Oh my God, that's right. Like, so many times, like I don't understand why I even wrote Russ on a name tag, or why I even said that word, because while some people do know that's my actual name, most people just know me by Dynasty Outhouse. And it's just like, right, we're human beings, you know who I am, but I have a stupid name on the internet.
Yeah, I had numerous people yelling daddy. And the fact that isn't weird is weird in and of itself.
The best was, though, the first time I met a lot of people, or like the first time they saw me on camera, they're like, "You're not as ugly as a guy named Outhouse I thought would be," and I'm like, "Thanks."
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yes, yeah, right.
So let me tell you my favorite story. Rich Mileto, Bodacious Beer. I don't know if you're familiar with Rich.
I know of.
So I know Rich as well, and we're very friendly on Twitter, interact quite a bit. I didn't know what he looked like. I'd never been on a show with him before. And everybody knows what I look like. I never realized that I wear a hat every show. But me, Linda, and Courtney were going out for dinner, and they were getting dressed up. So I did my hair, and I wear this nice shirt. And this gentleman that I did not really recognize came up to me and Linda and said, "Hey, you guys at the Expo?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Do you know what time everyone's getting to Jerseys?" And we answered, I think it was 7 or 8. I don't recall, but we gave the answer, and off they went.
Mm-hmm.
An interaction that basically a fleeting moment.
Yep.
Until I believe it was 2 days later, I had posted a picture of me and Linda at the restaurant. And Rich comments, and he goes, "I didn't know that was you. And that's my car in the background of your picture." So how we met was he asked what time the bar opened. I answered him, and off we went on our merry ways. And that was my interaction with Rich, someone who I'd been communicating with online for the better part of 7 months.
That's so fantastic.
It's obviously possible at a time like this. So we might as well get to a little bit of football. We talked trades a little bit, but really week 1, like what are you excited about besides the fact that football's back in less than 48 hours?
That's all I got, man. Like, I wish Trey Lance and Justin Fields were just like starting. Like it's so silly that they're not, and because they're the two I'm excited to see the most. Like at this point, Lawrence is Trevor Lawrence. If he starts out slow, it's like, okay, well, he's a rookie. It's still going to take him time. If he's great, it's just going to be, okay, he's Trevor Lawrence. We expected this. Zach Wilson, I'm just not a fan. But those other two, Fields and Lance, I like those guys. I wish I got to see them play. But otherwise, it's just football. I'm so excited for football. I'm excited. The gender roles in my house are very switched. My wife makes a crap ton more money I do at her job than I do. I take care of the kids. I do the cooking and the cleaning. Sundays during football season are wonderful for me because it's laundry day. Like it's a routine, and I love routines. I do laundry. I drop it on the floor in the middle of the family room. My kids sit in the background, either half paying attention to football, half making a mess of my laundry, and just watch Red Zone and sit there folding laundry, and it gets done because right now I have piles of clothing just sitting in the corner of my room that need to get folded and organized, and it's like I don't have a laundry day, so it's never going to get done. But like football season, I get my routine back. I get to watch football. I get to complain about football with all of these podcasts and all of my friends. Like now it's real. Like it's so much. Like I love the non-point scoring season. I love pure potential arguments. Like there's no wrong answer because we have no idea. And now it's just like, no, we've seen some stuff happen, so we have an educated guess. Oh, I'm not super educated, so I'm just still going to make stuff up as I go along and hope it works. But at least when we're just talking about potential value, I can't be wrong.
100%. You are 100% right to this point in the season.
Yeah.
Hey, give me one of those 1 or 2 bold predictions, like what's going to happen this year that you see coming, you're certain on, even though other people don't see it coming up.
I wish I had good ones because I killed it last. My 2 big predictions, my hot takes last year was Calvin Ridley is going to practically get outscore Julio by at least a third of Julio's points, and be a top 10 wide receiver, and he crushed that. And then I said Josh Allen was going to be the QB2 behind Patrick Mahomes. And now everyone's like, oh, okay. But no, before this season, Josh Allen was not very good. So it actually was a bold take. I don't really have anything that crazy going in this year. I'm just skeptical of everything right now. Like, it's funny. Like, last year was so weird, and now that we're sort of at a normal, like, we had our normal preseason stuff, the normal workouts, the OTAs, and now it's just like, what's gonna go wrong now that we think everything's normal again? So, like, honestly, I don't really have any super hot takes. I wish, if Drew Lock was the quarterback of the Broncos, I was going to say Judy and Sutton are both going to be top 20 wide receivers. I honestly think Judy still will be with Bridgewater, but I just don't think Sutton will, because Bridgewater doesn't have the guts that Sutton needs in a quarterback to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love those two guys. Those two are some of my favorite wide receivers this year.
Yeah, I've been all in on Judy. Sutton, I want to love Sutton. I want to believe that he's huge value there. I just have to know the knee's okay. Like, when they show that video of him limping, I'll admit I shouldn't, but I did. And I know it, and I know it's wrong, but I did. The Allen call I love. I actually called Allen as a QB1 in November of 19 going into 20, and I know exactly what you went through. Ridiculed. The guy can't even throw. Are you serious? So seeing that,
because back then he was like 59 completion percentage. Like, it was awful.
Brutal. Yeah, it was brutal. So I love that call. And you mentioned John Bosch, so obviously we have to ask everybody now. Kyle Pitts, go ahead and just talk about Kyle Pitts.
He is officially, according to DLF, the tight end 1, and I hate it. I get it. He's talented. I get it. He's athletic. How many times do we need to just be wrong about tight ends coming into the league? Now, here's the thing. He has the opportunity that no other tight end has had since, like, I can't even think, because, like, OJ Howard came in, Mike Evans was there. Let's go further back. Eric Ebron came in, Megatron was still there. I mean, everyone had at least someone else there. Kyle Pitts, yeah, he has Calvin Ridley, but there's literally no one else to catch the ball. There's no other wide receivers on the team. Sorry, Russell Gage and Zacharias Olamides. And, I mean, Mike Davis. I mean, let's face it, I'm just bitter because everyone who leaves the Seahawks does better after they leave, because Mike Davis was on the Seahawks and just was okay. And now he's awesome. But still, the Falcons' defense is atrocious. They're going to throw the ball 500 to 700 times like they do every year. And there's 2 real targets on that team. If Pitts doesn't do well, honestly, I think that's really bad. And of course, it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect his value. He can get 600 yards and 3 touchdowns. And people are going to be like, oh, no, he's a tight end. It's fine. It takes 2 years. I am becoming less and less of an ageist as time goes on, just because I think Twitter is getting more and more ageist. I don't understand how Kelsey's not everyone's tight ends 1. It's the dumbest thing in the world to me. I don't care that he's 31. Look at that man. He is a Greek god sculpted in marble. That is what Travis Kelce is, on the best offense with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, where he's a top 2 target. Like, you could even argue who's 1, who's 2 between him and Tyreek Hill. Darren Waller, he's the only dude to catch the ball. I mean, okay, Bryan Edwards might be a thing, probably not. Sorry, Henry Ruggs. I mean, you're just whatever. But, like, and Kittle, I want to like Kittle. That offense is weird. He's so much after the catch and injuries. Like, he's like Gronk, even back in the day of, like, the mid 20 teens, you knew you were missing out on Gronk for 2 to 3 games. Like, he chips a something, he twists a something, and he was going to miss a game. And it's just like, okay, that's fine, because he's still the top 2 tight end, because it was just him and Jimmy Graham. Like, Kittle will be a top 5 tight end in points per game, because he's going to miss a couple of games. It's just the way it is. And if I could avoid that situation, I would like to. And I mean, I love me some Hawkinson. To me, the top few tight ends are Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, and then I will listen to anyone. Pitts and Hawk are the same thing at this point, because they're both in very similar situations. I like Matt Ryan over what's his name in Detroit nowadays, Jared Goff. I like that there's someone else to catch the ball. I like that Calvin Ridley's there, so there isn't 6 defenders on Kyle Pitts. there might be 6 defenders on TJ Hawkinson because there's Hawkinson and Swift. So 5 for Swift, 6 for Hawkinson.
That's how it's going to break down.
That's all you need to do.
I like it. I like it. Now, you're not going to be shocked with this last question. You have to know it was coming. But I want you to explain it slowly. I want you to look into the camera because this is important to me. And you know this is important to me. Describe to me the greatest sandwich you have ever eaten.
Okay. This is why it's on. We recorded Trade Addicts yesterday, and since we had John Bosch on as our guest, of course, there was a beer question asked. And our lovely, beautiful human being of a friend, J Mike, asked the question, top 3 beers. He asked us to compare them to players, but we're far too lazy for that. We didn't do it. But we talked about our top 3 beers. And besides my top beer, which was by Evil Genius, and it's called Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
I like that. Sounds wonderful.
Well, first of all, it's a Simpsons reference, which was the only reason I tried it for the first time. I knew nothing. I didn't even know what kind of beer it was, anything. I'm like, Simpsons reference, I'll take this. And it was a chocolate peanut butter porter. Effing delicious. Like, that is my favorite beer at this point. But also the other 2 is because to me, it was things that were so interesting and sometimes took me out of my comfort zone. There's Asbury Park Brewery. I'm in New Jersey. Asbury Park is one of the shores, if you want to feel cool about using Jersey slang. And they had a funnel cake ale where it literally, you drank it, it tasted like fried dough and powdered sugar. It was the coolest thing ever. And then my third answer was it's brewed by a couple of Brooklyn Jews. Their company name is Hebrews, which I would love a good pun. I'm always there for it. It was a pastrami rye ale. You took a sip of this beer and it tasted like you took a bite out of pastrami on rye. And it was the coolest freaking thing in the world. Now, don't get me wrong, it was gross. But it was amazing. Like, I walked around, first of all, it was this place called Barcade, which is brilliant. It's a bar and it's an arcade. What more do you want in life?
Love it.
And like, I was there for a friend's birthday. I was walking around to people I didn't know. And I'm just like, you need to try this. Like, who are you? Just please try this. Yo, that tastes like a deli sandwich, right? Like, so it's these weird things that take me out of my element that kind of make me like things better, because challenging assumptions, liking things you've never liked before. The very first time I ate a Cuban sandwich was, man, like, it was sadly not as long ago as I would love it to be. Like, I should have been eating these things since I was a teenager, but I was probably in my like late 20s. And I love pork, you know, ham, pork. I don't like mustard and I don't like pickles. And I didn't care because I wanted this freaking sandwich. So I order it. I'm just like, breathe. Okay. I take a bite, and that first bite, I got mustard, I got pickles, I got ham, I got pork, I got the beautifully buttered toasted roll. And I'm just like, holy crap. I like these things, only in this situation, but I like these things. Like, I've grown to like mustard since then. I still am not really a fan of pickles. The only time I will eat pickles is on a Cuban, or when I'm just too lazy to pick them off a burger when they forgot to put them on anyway. But I'm still not thrilled about it. But like, on a Cuban, it's just the perfect, it all just fits together so well. And it was just something I didn't think I was going to like, but wanted to eat it anyway. And I loved it. And to this day, that the Cuban is, I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite sandwich, but like, when you ask that question, that one sandwich, that first time, always pops right into my brain. So I guess that does make it my favorite sandwich, and I'm not upset about it, so that's fine.
You shouldn't be. So Cubans bring me back to, I was in the middle of New Hampshire, and I don't know how much time you spent in New Hampshire, but
literally zero. Okay.
So it's one of those places where realistically, it's where I was, very backwoods. You're not expecting a Cuban sandwich. And I go into this place, and one of the things I love, and I always recommend to people, is that if there's something on a menu that doesn't look like it belongs there, order it. Like I went to the steak place and they had crawfish etouffee, and I'm not even in Louisiana, and I'm like, why is this here? But I ordered it, and it was wonderful because clearly they knew how to make this, and
There's got
so
to
I
be a reason it's there.
exactly. So I look at these sandwiches, and it's turkey and Swiss. It is your ham and cheese. It has some grilled cheeses, has the Italian, has some club sandwiches, and a Cuban. And I'm on Yelp, and I'm just like, try the Cuban, like pages and pages of it. And so I got it, and I don't know what this was doing, being wasted away in the middle of nowhere. But I have been eating Cubans for quite a while, and this was the pinnacle of my Cuban eating experience. So while you were telling that story, I'm going back to New Hampshire and getting all the feels. So thank you for that. That's why I like to ask the question. We've now bonded over Cubans, and the next time we hang out, I will get that embrace. And we will get ourselves a Cuban sandwich, my friend,
Damn
and we
straight.
will celebrate the wonders of life and your newfound love of pickles. Ish.
In that situation, yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, this has been a blast. Tell everybody what you got going on this year, and then we'll head out and get you to bed because I know we're way up past both of our bedtimes.
Yeah, I mean, this honestly, I think I've been asleep this entire time. This might just be a wild dream. I'm not sure.
No, that's fair. I'll let you know tomorrow. If you see a note from me saying, "Hey, we have the show tonight," you might want to get checked out.
Russ, what the hell? You bailed for a fourth time? Seriously? Yes, and just so everyone knows, I have gone full on diva on Mike when we were trying to put this together. I had to postpone 3 times. I showed up late tonight. He needed to know who's really in charge here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's him. I've been an ass. I'm sorry.
Nothing to be sorry about at all. You know me. I was going to overthink it no matter when we launched, so we're all good here.
Well, you did wonderfully. Forget talking about me. Let's talk about how awesome you are and how great of an idea this is. And I'm so happy that you were able to put this all together. I am thrilled to have more of you in the fantasy football zeitgeist.
Oh, you are too sweet, but realistically, I just want to sit here and listen to one of the people that I came up with watching and admiring talk. So honestly, it's been an honor having you on. So this is going to be what we're probably going to do this a couple times a month. We'll probably launch some new shows. I think we got a lot of cool stuff coming up on the DLF podcast, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Director.
Oh yeah,
this
never
is going to be sick.
Ends. There is no off season, baby. DLF.
Absolutely not. So I'm going to give you a little bit of our music and take you out. Russ, thank you so much for episode 2 coming up whenever we record it. We'll be hanging with Cooter, my friend and yours, Cooter Doodle. So make sure to check us out on the DLF YouTube channel and wherever you find DLF podcasts. Like, subscribe, leave some comments if they're nice. If not, just write it in draft because you don't want to put that on the internet. No one wants to see that stuff. No. Absolutely not. Russ, thank you so much, brother. I'll catch you soon. All right.
Love you, buddy.
Love you.
Get down. Turn on the pod cause we looking at live right now. Peeling it back, take a quick look inside of all of these analysts out of your hand.